Hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Isra, and today we are going to learn grammar together. And I think it's important to learn English grammar because English grammar is not easy to learn and we have to practice it. And most of the time, we practice grammar by using the old school way, which is we have different quizzes and sentences, and we have to fill the blank or the gap between each sentence, or even create our own sentence. But grammar is more difficult and complex to learn. So, if you are a IELTS learner or you want to have IELTS exam, I think learning grammar and practice it is critical. Okay, so yeah, let's move on and learn grammar. It's not learning, it's like practicing together and revise grammar because sometimes we forget simple rules. And in my opinion, if you build your solid foundations, if you build your base layer for your grammar, you would be better in English speaking or English fluency. So let's move on. As you can see my screen here, I have this material. I'm sharing my IELTS material. I'm learning from this, by the way. So I thought that it would be nice to share it with you. We will have step by step. I think I have already before that shared this material, but I couldn't continue, so I'm gonna start again. All right, so let's move on. So the first thing, and this is like a basic rule, if you are a IELTS student and you want to know how band descriptors collected, this is like if you, in case you want band 7 or higher, you must do this and that, which is use a range of different sentence types and word orders. This is mean that it shows your ability of compound and complex sentence. So you have to use simple sentence and also compound and complex sentences. And number two, we have use complex sentences, but also it's important to use the simple one to boost your accuracy in English speaking. So there is a rule in English, and I think most of us, as a non native speaker of English, we have, which is we talk longer and longer sentence. And this is, by the way, it's not true and it's false way of speaking. And we have to use complex sentence, but also you need to mix it with simple sentence. And of course you're gonna make mistake because it's not easy, but you can practice it and you can do it because using simple sentence, it's gonna decrease your errors and increase your score, by the way. And the last instruction we have here, vast majority of your sentence, over 50% should be error free. This is mean that no grammar mistakes. You just speak. So yeah, in case this rule, in case you want to take the IELTS exam, let's start the first part, which is about the grammatical range tenses. And this is about all English tenses. And let's start with which tense you should use. And sometimes we have this hard prefer to know because someone asks you in the present or in the past, you should answer with what sentence, which sentence you should use. So, for example, do you enjoy your work? The present simple, yes, I do, or no, I don't. As you can see, we have do, which is the verb to do, okay, but it's in present. So you have your answer in present. We also have what was your first day like at work. We have here the past simple. So your answer should be in the past because we have here was right here. So it should be in the past. And you should say it was a nice day. I met new colleague, for example, or you should describe your day. All right, I think I have to do something like that also. How to describe your work, how to describe yourself, your personality. This is good for you and for me also because we are learning together how to use the language, how we respond and expose ourselves on the language, how we describe ourselves. And as you can see in the third questions here, have you ever been to an art gallery? This is your present perfect. And we have here have and been. This the keyword for the present perfect. So you might say, I have never went to an art gallery before. And the last question we have, if you had the chance, would you change your job? This means we are using here if statement, the conditional. So because we have if and had and would right here. So maybe you might say yes or no. But what about the rest of the sentence? You should say, I would do this and that. I know I don't want to change my job. And you might notice that I'm using the conditional in my answer. Let's move on now. We have here something good, which is which tense you to use. This is our answers because we have in the previous slide we have different examples in different tenses, which is give us an overview about which tense we should use. But here we have the full explanations about that. So after starting your answer with the same grammar, you can change the tenses to extend your answer and to show grammatical range with time traveler. It's like a technique, time traveler. It doesn't mean that you are going to travel through the time, but this means, for example, you can see here, this example describe what the previous paragraph said. Have you ever traveled outside of your country? So in this answer or in this questions we have our answers, as you can see, yes, I have been to a different nations. So the first sentence, it shows that we used the present perfect because we have here our questions in the present perfect. And then we have the last time I was. So was here, it's a past simple. Last time I was abroad was 4 years ago. So this sentence, we use here the past simple. When I had to travel to Germany to meet my distant relatives. This means that we still use the past simple. They were living in Berlin at the time. So here we are using the past continuous. And you can see here each tense it's colored in different colors, and the I think we have now this sentence, and we went sightseeing together to explore the local culture and landscapes. This is also past simple, which is I found to be very fascinating. And here we use also the past simple. This technique is called time traveler. Right here, this word. So it's explain how we can use different tenses, but the first tense or the first sentence we used here the past perfect. Okay, so here we have, as you can see, each color describe which sentence we used. I think this is a wonderful way to use different sentence and different tenses. We have used here the complex sentence. Also, we use simple sentence. We used different tenses. Let's move on to another important rule. So guys, we are learning these different rules because we are going to learn in the next episode how to use each sentence. And assume that you already know how to structure each sentence, how the past simples look like and the structure and how to use it, or the present simple. But this is a revise, and I think from time to time we have to revise our grammar speaking because this is how we speak, and grammar rules is important as I mentioned. So when not to change the tense, we have now another rule. This is not, by the way, a grammar rules. It's like an opinion in case you are an Ielts student and you want to enroll to your Ielts exam. It's important to know which rules and when to use because this is how they measure your accuracy. So as you can see, do no or don't change the tense when there is no time change. This is another rule. So, for example, during the lecture, Jane stood up and drops her phone. You can see here we have different tenses. We have the first tense, as mentioned, the past tense, stood up, and the second one, drops her phone. This is the present tense. So this is wrong. It's incorrect sentence because we don't have to change the tenses. It's happens at the same time. So why you change the tense? So the correct answer should be in the past or in the present, whatever that happened the time, but you shouldn't use different tenses here. And many non-native English speaker, including me, have this mistake. We don't know when we should use this and that. So now I think you have a clear point about when you should use it. So during lecture, Jane stood up and dropped her phone. So you can see here that we have two sentences in the past, and the second we have two sentences in the present. So I think now you know that we don't have to change the time, or we don't have to switch between tenses, because we already have one sentence, one big complex sentence happened at the same time. The same time mean that maybe in the past or the present. So I don't have to use different tenses here. So another rule here: change the tense only when there is no need to do so. So this describe describes the previous one. So usually the timing of the actions within a sentence will dedicate when the tense must be changed. This is mean that, for example, we have here this sentence: when Jane comes here, we will go to the movie. You can see here we have two actions. Now we talk about actions. Jane will come and then we'll go to the movie. This the future will happen in the future. So we use the same future form, even the action will happen in the future. So this describes the timing of the action within the sentence will dedicate when the tense must be changed. Here we talk about the action and how we change the tense. When Jane comes here, we will go to the movies. James will arrive and then we will go to see a movie together. And the second one, Sam reached for the apple after he had already eaten two oranges. So I'm gonna try to simplify it for you. We have here this frequency word, which is when and after. When you use this word, this means you have to change your sentence tense. So the second one, you notice that Sam reached for the apple. We have the past simple. After, after, and we know the rule for after. We use a tense, which is tense you use past simple. We have here the past simple, and then we have the past perfect. He had already eaten two oranges. So we have past perfect follow up after using this frequency word, which is after. So here we are switched between two tenses still in the past, but we have start with the past simple and follow up with the past perfect. So now you can understand that when you should use different tenses. I'm gonna repeat again. When you have this frequency word, when, after, if, before, until, this word it's connecting at the same time it has a rule. So you have to use different tenses. All right, let's move on. Now we have all the tenses we need, but I think next time we will take it because I need this to be shorter. But it's a bit for me, it's longer video format, so I'm sorry for that. So I hope you like this episode and see you in the next time.